Okay, we're back after yet another week, and let's go over what we got done in this week in the shop. We got a few more miles on John's car. We were able to, it's John's 68 Camaro. We were able to change out the springs to a 700-pound spring up from a 600-pound spring. It's a lot stiff, not stiffer, but more firm. Seems like it's handling the weight of that turbo system a lot better. So we're happy about that, and it reduced some rubbage because we were able to raise the ride height a little bit on that. And we also ordered a new center stack and a radio because the radio install is pretty, there's something to be desired there. It has a flip out radio that is less than ideal when you're driving it, so we ordered a center dash insert from East Bay Muscle Cars, another one, so that we can put a double din head unit in there, and it's going to be flush and it'll face you. It won't be facing at the shifter. So once that comes in, we'll paint that and get that installed and then continue to drive it. David's 70 Challenger is getting into production next week. This has been a long-term restoration for David. It was done many years ago, and through those years of storage, unfortunately, it's picked up a few little imperfections here and there. So we're going to go ahead and refine the car a little bit more. We're going to replace the front valance here. You can see there's a small little things, little crack in the paint there. There's some bubbles right here. And then there's some inconsistencies on originality on this thing. This inner fender apron has been replaced, and there's some things that aren't correct for a 70. So this shouldn't be here, so we'll be getting rid of that. Few small things, couple holes that shouldn't be there, couple holes that should be there. So we're going to make sure that we get it right. We are a hot rod shop. We aren't OEM restoration guys. However, the right customer, we will be able to do cosmetic stuff for cars. Generally, we don't restore cars to OEM because the amount of knowledge you need to know is just more than we're willing to get into. We're just not specialized in that. Some guys do. We're a hot rod shop, but we're going to be just handling the exterior stuff on this, the cosmetic stuff, so we can get it painted, fixed, looking beautiful, and then it'll go back to David to be final assembled. Bill's Camaro is back. It was in the trailer last week from the Triple Crown, so we have it up here for some, we'll be able to do some light cosmetic assembly up here. We'll get the top and the top frame back installed. We have all the moldings for the windshield surround. We have all that stuff painted, so we'll be able to install that stuff and get it closer to the line so that we can then get into production, into the mechanical side, and we can start wiring it, plumbing it, doing all that fun stuff. Tony's 68 Firebird is also going to be coming down into the shop to get up on a lift so we can continue on the assembly of this, the exhaust, get the radiator in it, get the rest of the wiring in it, get it running, and then we can start planning interior. So down in the main shop, CJ's car is getting ready for the roof skin to be installed, final installed. Like I had said last week, all the quarters are on for good. So we'll be able to continue on sheet metal work. Holly's truck is getting the frame repaired. Very common area on square bodies is the frame rusts in this area and kind of spreads everything out and becomes a weak point. Someone had at one point replaced the spring mount bracket. However, the frame was really thin in here, so we cut it out and actually sectioned in new pieces. You can kind of see over here the damage that I'm talking about. We have already repaired this area here, but you know, you can see it gets really, really thin, and it actually deforms the frame. So we're going in here, we hammer it flat, and then we'll cut out this whole section, and then after we're done with the metal work, we'll treat it with epoxy primer, front side, back side, so that we get that corrosion protection back into place. And then we'll give the back half of the frame a quick wire wheel and a repaint just to make it fresh. So otherwise, the truck will be solid, it'll be good to go, and then we'll be able to start cutting and buffing the back of the cab so that we can get the bed on, and yada, 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 so on and so forth. The OBS, Chad is final fitting the tubs, getting the flanges that he made in, taking a lot of time to make sure that the fitment is on point before we weld anything in for good. The flanges will get welded, the tubs will stay Clecoed so that we can then fabricate this, because when it comes to welding the tubs in, the tubs are at a slight angle in, so it would be difficult to install the trapezoid that we're going to fabricate for it. So this has to weld in first. Once that's welded in, we can weld in the tubs. Tubs go into here, and then we make outer wheelhouses. So a lot of time goes into it, a lot of thought, but once it's done, it's going to be plenty of clearance for the tires, for the axle, for all that stuff. So, and it'll look really good too. What do we got? Tom's 70 Chevelle. It actually had a reshoot with Scotty Lockenauer for All Chevy Performance Magazine this week. So that allowed us to start getting a few miles on the car, to start dialing it in. Unfortunately, you know, once you start driving them, one of the plug wires ended up moving and burnt on the header. So we're going to replace that this upcoming week. And but otherwise, the car drives really nice. Just a few quirks here and there. Steering wheel's not straight. Just gonna continue to start chipping away at the debugging process, is what we like to call it. You know, these cars have bugs from day one. It's just the nature of building a hot rod. So we want to take care of those things as much as possible before we hand over the keys to the customer. Same thing for Bruce's 65 Le Mans. It's in the debugging process. We're fighting the factory 10-bolt rear at the moment. We rebuilt it. It was very loud. We rebuilt it again, also very loud. So we're wondering if it was a pre-existing condition before we even took the car apart. It's the factory rear. We've actually had problems with original factory rears in a Buick Olds Pontiac. It's not a Chevy 10-bolt, it's a Buick Olds Pontiac 10-bolt. So we're kind of getting to the point where we might just end up going and putting a brand new 9-inch rear in it. It's way overkill for the power level. However, we can guarantee that the drivability will be spot on, and you won't have, I mean, it is loud. So we'll want to make sure that we get that sorted. So a 9-inch with a nice tall gear is probably slated for this car, just so we can take care of the problem once and for all. In here we have the Capaldo's 88 Mustang. It got painted this week. Brian's assembling it as we speak. The paint shop really got this thing sorted out really nice this week. Dakota did a great job painting the fenders, blending everything out. Cervini's hood is painted, ready to go. Once everything's on, we'll give it a light cut and buff. At the end of the day, this is a collision repair. We're not making it perfect. We're not going crazy. We're making it really nice. Admittedly, some things fall through the cracks here. They did request us to fill the license plate holes. Unfortunately, that information didn't make it to the paint shop in time for paint. They painted it. We're gonna have to fix that. They did ask prior to paint for us to fill those holes. So something we'll have to take care of. That'll probably happen next week. and then the bumper can go on and the car can get done. We're installing new headlights, fog lights in this thing, so this thing's gonna look killer once it's all done. Back here, we have Holly's parts are painted, again, still waiting. The bed, we prepped, we're gonna paint the inside of the bed just satin black, nice and painted. Being that everything's brand new, it's gonna look super nice, seam sealed, and painted flat black. She's not gonna be hauling a lot of stuff in this. This is her baby, so we're gonna do a painted surface in here instead of like an undercoating. The underside of the bed is gonna get undercoated so that rocks and all that stuff, get absorbed. Same thing on the inside of the tailgate. We're gonna put a coat of flat black on that as well. So it's all masked up, ready to go, so the paint shop can go in and get everything painted next week. We're hoping that we can get the bed taken care of and get it on the chassis ASAP. So like I had mentioned, we're gonna cut and buff the back of the cab, and then we'll install the bed. That way we can take two big project pieces and put them as one so they don't take as much up in the shop. Steve's 67 Chevelle is covered. Dakota started cutting the quarter for wet sand and polish before he got wrapped up into doing some paint this week. But we got the windshield clips in place so that our glass guy can come and put the glass into it. Glass car. Mike at Glass Car will come and set the windows with urethane. That way when we do start cutting and sanding and all that sludge from the roof doesn't go inside the car. It'll help keep the inside of the car cleaner. Because wet sanding and buffing is an extremely dirty, messy process. So, and over here we have Matt's 72 Chevelle, like I had mentioned last week, built by Cruisers Customs. The new clutch is back in it, trans is back in it. We're waiting on a brake line, and the fuel tank is out of it at the moment because it got damaged, so we're gonna get that repainted this upcoming week. We should have this car back together next week, and then we can start driving it. We did notice that the front tires are flat spotted, so we're probably gonna be putting a set of tires on the front, get it running, and get it back on the road so that Matt can get back in it and burn the tires off of it. And last but not least in the shop, Justin's F-250 is just about completed for the mechanical portion. It's plumbed. Jack right now is making the upper radiator hoses. It's plumbed, wired, AC system is good, the brake system is good aside from going down to the wheels, the calipers and everything. So hopefully in the next month or so we'll get the exhaust built and we'll get this thing fired up and running. It's a Blueprint 427 based off of a 351, so I think it's a 550 horsepower engine, and she's good to go. And then Rebecca's car ended up being a set of plugs. It developed a miss like I had mentioned last week, so we got a set of new plugs in it. Runs great. Brad's 65 Mustang is on its way out today. We ended up putting a set of catalytic converters on it because he was complaining of the smell. We're getting a lot of customers who are going in that direction because the stink is just, sure, it smells good for a short amount of time, but every time you drive the car, it stinks. So we put a set of catalytic converters on that car, and that car is headed out. So that about wraps it up for this week in the shop. Like I've said, if you want your car to be on this week in the shop, shoot us an email at info@blueskyperformanceandrestoration.com, and follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky Performance Jesse, Blue Sky Performance Jeff, and Blue Sky Performance. I know it's a lot. You don't have to follow all three if you don't want to. And we're also on Facebook under Blue Sky Performance and Restoration. See you next time.